Okay, so check it out. This is my documentary right here. A Leaf in the Wind tour documentary. And, excuse me just a second. What's going on?
I didn't know you were talking to the phone.
Huh?
I didn't know you were recording yourself.
Oh, yeah, I've got a documentary going on right now.
A documentary?
Yeah, it's a long story.
A what?
It's a long story. That's why I'm documenting it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I hope you have enough memory.
Hope I have what? Enough memory? Storage?
Has enough memory.
Yeah, I run into that problem every now and then. I run out of storage.
Sometimes I do voice record, sometimes I write. You know, it's I use voice record, I don't use the video. You're a singer. Are you a blues man?
Oh no, I just I'm somebody that's trying to be something that's really not out there right now.
Which is a follower of the way which Christ made.
Not necessarily. In music, that as well, but in music is we're talking about as far as the documentary goes. I'm just trying to do something that's not really, or it hasn't been done already, you know.
Like speaking of the,
At least not in the way that I've done it. You know, it's going to be a snowflake. If I do it, it's going to be a snowflake of what's already been done before. People are making documentaries all the time. It'll be its own. It's going its own little snowflake of a documentary.
Well, every snowflake is unique, but the water is impacted by the treatment. As the water in you, your cells even. Love wasn't shown in my family. It wasn't safe because my father lived in animal skin, in the primitive nervous system, causing trauma to my mother. That's the animal skin which God gave to Eve, and we're still living in the dark night of Eve. But you have to offer everything, my past, my present, and my future. That's what Paul did for 13 years after the scales fell from his eyes. And he still.
Slept and put back up.
It's all, but the unconsidered life is not worth living, is what they killed the council of Athens killed Paul for Socrates for, and he's the one who said he was after Plato. Plato talked about the light in the cave. We're all living in caves. Isaiah calls it I'm running away out into the and hiding in a rock in a crevice. I don't remember the Isaiah, whatever it is, but we're all doing that in some way, form, or shape, or fashion. We've got to give everything. We've got to be our own priests and lay my past and my present and my future before the Spirit, which gave one breath to us so that we can become one. That's one of Jesus' last wishes on the cross. May they be one as you and I are
one. Your name is what?
Huh?
What's your name again?
John the Younger.
John Younger?
John the Younger.
John the Younger.
The last 4 books of the Bible were written by John the Elder.
Oh, you're John the Younger. Got it, that's slow.
Well, that's what it means, but my mother named me that. I never knew it. She just said it's the light that's come to the world, but it was her little world that the light was, and I didn't understand it for decades. But that is what the gift of life is all about, when under the covering of eternal life, agape life, all our mother is what was created that was good before we fell into idolatry. And and that's been be fruitful and multiply. That's the fucking, the slaves, whether you're Donald Trump going to Hugh Hefner's palace, Hugh Hefner's mansion, and I've got a wife. I've got the cosmopolitan model from the CoverGirl, but now I like it's the same as the pilots who put the girls with the big boobs on the front of the planes, the skinny girls with big boobs. It's supposed to represent nurturance, but we're all wounded soldiers, and I don't want to throw any stones at anyone, but people they don't want to sit. They're still stuck on I can be like God.
Hey, you want to get in the video?
I don't know.
You're like making the video right now. This is like the documentary. And
am I on it?
I think what do you call it? The visual goes a long way because, like, when you're talking to me right now, So go ahead and spit something.
So we are living in the valley of the shadow of death. We were born here. The shepherd, the good shepherd, gone astray in the living dirt, the rebellion in the living dirt. It's simple and it's complicated because if I do not honor that there are two fathers, one with the animal skin of the trauma nervous system living in the lower stool, I'm going to be fruitful and multiply. We've got to live as mammals in the predator-prey complex, where the whole church is. I had a woman. We're the last of the most cunning of the predatory apes. But what of the little toddler who was the gift? The mammalian nervous system takes it all in, and it gets stolen by those who are ruled by words. We have to surrender it all to be one as you and I are, as Jesus said, may they be one as you and I are one. If that is not what the person who studies scriptures, the priest was, when they left Egypt, and Moses, who was put in an ark, his mother saw that he was precious, and she kept him. She didn't just throw him in the river of blood, but that is the river of blood is what happens when you get kicked out of the garden. We're the shepherd ape and the brushstroke, or the brush tip in time and space. But all I have to give the spirit wind is unison, or doing my best to get there. I'm trying to find words. Which you're a unique person because you're interested. You're living barefoot on what this is nothing but a temple like Babylon, where they're building towers of Babel and babbling on and on. I'm so great. I'm gonna trump my brother. Abel is the one who can take it all in. So, well, what am I gonna do after this life? Bound to time and space. Who's shining a light from? Who's shooting arrows straight from the past and the future, into the past and the future? The veil between heaven and earth is as thick or as thin as you make it. Jesus knew that his mother set him up at the wedding feast, but it's a little more challenging to recover everything that the shepherd ape was created for, because agape love in time and space, it's going to show me where I was not pure. I have a lot of baggage. I have a lot of history of doing the wrong thing. And being born again means having the courage to die again and again to that dead man, that white stone, that ash from the spiritual grass fire, the shepherding of the ape. The ape, let's say you had a grandfather. Okay, I'm shepherding these lands, or maybe it's a whole tribe, right? They're all related. That's where you get from man planting a seed in a woman. The woman is supposed to be the earth. That's where we plant seeds. That's where the twisted branch goes astray. We do what most of what people do is unconscious. You're living outside of it, so you can see it. And we could have discussions going off in that direction. But Socrates, he said the unconsidered lust. This was in Greece, and it was decades, almost a century, I believe, before we got the message. We got Alexander the Great, who, when news would come back of his father's conquering another kingdom, he would say, he would whine, oh, there'll be nothing left for, like boo-hoo, there's be nothing left for me to conquer. But his mother, meanwhile, was doing that. You've got to consider the history of your father, that honoring our parents who are blind and asleep is not the same as I have but this one life to live. The process, it's a process and it's a product on the stage before the eternal witness. The spirit wind which was blown into me, I took my first breath in fear when I severed from my mother. The same word for spirit and breath, it's the same. So one of the things I like is, and I'm a little rusty, I haven't practiced it, but I did it for a long time. It was a regular practice. Out of his father. I'm out of practice. Really out of practice. I belong to you. Inhale, exhale. My breath coming into union with eternity. And we've got to be careful because you might have your own experience of this in a certain way, but I would doing what was right in my own eyes. With the Book of Judges, it says it 4 times. Everybody did what was right in their own eyes, but they were slaves. Abram, who left Persia and became named Abraham, he was an old man he had no legacy. The legacy is your children. I don't know if you have children. I don't. Because, well, those who made it available to me, playing the seed practice, they laid their cards down, or I wasn't that interested. But then there was one who gave her virginity to me when I was 20, and man, she looked up to me like I had all this wisdom. Like I had a lot of head knowledge, but there were so many things. Sorrows. Jesus was well acquainted with sorrow. Those people in the church, they're just dead meat, not well acquainted with the sorrows of giving. I've got to be fearless in giving my life to Mother Earth. That's our mother. That's where the tapestry of life and love, whether it's your cells are dividing, or whether it's half of a strand of DNA coming back, and the woman, she has every woman you've ever met, her eggs were in her mother's womb. The egg that became her was in her mother's womb when she was in her mother's womb. So that's wiring the nervous system. And it's also that there's DNA and RNA. DNA, it represents potential, and RNA represents, it's like on-off switches. Like, if you're just eating junk and poison all the time, but I'm gonna have a Happy Meal. Like potatoes and hamburger. But I think it's Isaiah 44. I'm not the numbers, like, I used to be really good with numbers, but I can't hang on to these things. But I want to put it down into a story of basically you were born to a man and a woman, right? Father and mother.
So far, I think we're all pretty much, as far as I know, it could change. But they didn't let us know about it. They did. But right now,
they were blind. They were blind sheep. Right, but so half of your father's DNA and half of your mother's DNA.
Right.
But I mean, we're in the rock and roll era. You know what? You're a musician, right? Kind of.
That's just debatable.
You're an artist. You're trying to create something. You write lyrics.
I say I'm an artist. Yeah.
Well,
I understand for what a musician is. I was actually, when you came over, I was just going to do a demonstration of me practicing something that I'm unfamiliar with, and then keep people updated on what it would be like, I guess, 7 days from now, or maybe 10 days from now, as I do the same function, as I would practice it off cam, you know, and they say, well, here's the update on it. But yeah, I was actually, when you came over, I was practicing something where I was going to do the demonstration of where I'm at with certain things, as opposed to where I'm at with other things.
Right.
So they could see the growth as it moves on forward.
Right. So if you're an artist, the product and the process of living your life, you're learning. You're not closed in doing the same thing that you did before you practiced something new. I mean, you know, I don't want to throw anything out, but one of the things we're living in the rock and roll era, but do you know where the rock and roll era came from?
Where did it come from? Chuck Berry?
No, it was, you know, there were traveling jazz musicians. A lot of it was up and down the Mississippi, you know, in that time, but then also in the southern, but, you know, there was also the music coming across the phonograph, right, in the records, and or live. A lot of it was live music back then. Like you're doing live music when you're playing, when you're practicing, or when you're performing, whether the audience is just you or not. I mean, you know, I don't know how I have a hard time living in outside of nature. That lowers the frequency because the spirit moves in and through all created beings. And we're living in the locust tribes. There were 4 locust tribes. I believe it was first it was the cutting locust. They cut down all the you know, but there were 4 locust tribes, and I don't know which, I can't remember where in the Old Testament it is, but we have those autonomous consciousnesses of how we're doing, living, and interacting. So you got a black and white, the stripes, the black and white stripes, but I consider we're living in the river of blood, which flows into the ocean of blood. And we've got to climb out of that river, which there were crocodiles in the river where Moses' mother put him in a basket made of reeds and asphalt. It's scratchy, you know. Not that plastic diapers aren't scratchy, but it's too convenient. It's, you know, it's better than they used to actually use rags, you know, and clean them, right? Rags. You know, but so the white is what's purified outside of.
You talking about the red, white, and blue right now?
We're talking about the red and white stripes in the flag.
Right.
And where are the stars? Well, that's an interesting thing. That goes back to Freud, who basically talked about the shadows and what's on the other side, light, which everybody I've ever met in one way, form, or shape that's part of the animal skin. I'm going to hide my ass in the shadow, but every generation, the child is a gift, the mammalian nervous system, to shine a light in the darkness. But those have been sacrificed. Literally, it's tossed over the wall that we've built around the walled city called Jerusalem. It was before they.
Hey, John the Younger.
Yeah.
You call me Tony or Anthony.
Tony. Yeah.
Or Anthony. And I don't want to cut you off. I wouldn't cut you off.
Yeah, no worries. I'm moving on.
On this right here, though, when you spoke about the living room, And it's not just that. I got to upload this. I'm gonna upload this. I like your vibe. I like what you're talking about. I would ask you to wrap it up, and, not wrap it up, but I would ask you to put it in like a nutshell.
Right.
What you're talking about. But I see you're so deep, and you're going a lot of. I don't think you. Could you do that? Would you do that?
I could keep
Put that in a nutshell. 'Cause I don't think it's a nutshell kind of thing you're going about.
So what we're living in, it's like if the scriptures don't become your life, you're not following the right God. You're following a God created by idolaters who say, "Well, I'm not a predatory ape. I don't know what you're talking." I saw a woman shaken because she was so indoctrinated in the generational curse of walking far astray, not honoring the creator of creation by honoring the creation itself. We're either the shepherd ape or we're part of the locust tribe.
And there were 4. That's 2. Were the other 2?
There were 4. They were cutting locusts, but they're all running unconsciously. Paul talks about that in 1 Corinthians 11. Some of you have fallen asleep, and there's consciousness of the dead man walking. Because I'm going to get mine in this life. It's Cain versus Abel. It's an intergenerational curse passed on again and again and again. But Cain is the lower stool, and one who says, "Oh shit, I did what was right in my own eyes and it didn't work." And sometimes it's really hard to find words.
Hey John, hold it right there, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that little segment what I was gonna do. You're gonna bear with me. If you want to finish what you're doing, or you want to head out, you can head out.
No, I want to hear. I wanted to hear you play a long time ago. I'm gonna let you.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna be impressive.
Are you
like
on
I
YouTube?
said.
Are you on YouTube, or you said you got a documentary? Is this all?
Yeah, this is I'm putting it up on YouTube. You don't mind if I put this up on YouTube? I take it. I gather.
Yeah, I don't mind. That'd be perfect because tomorrow's Bastille Day.
Okay.
And who's the king of the past life that I was living? If I'm not willing to die to that, I'm not willing to sacrifice that before eternity.
All right. So this is what I was wanting to do. I was wanting to say that a little demonstration. This is a documentary that I'm doing right now.
Right.
So a little demonstration of where I'm at when I'm fumbling around with things that I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
And then, as I show you this right now, you can see that as it progresses, because I'm working on this right here. It's very simple.
Right.
It's actually just the sus chords.
The who chords? Sus?
Yeah, I'm talking to the camera
Yeah.
and you right simultaneously.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to be rude.
No.
So this like the sus chords, just let someone do it. But I'm hearing in there as I was working on it, the opening, the intro to Free Falling. But it's such a pause, a rest before I get my fingers aligned and everything. Because right now I'm working on the muscle memory.
Sure.
So this is how terrible I sound with something
Don't put
that's
yourself down.
unfamiliar. No, I'm not putting myself down. I'm just saying honestly. Here's my fingertips right now on something I was trying to get familiar with not too long ago. See that index finger? I'm working on these calluses and stuff right now. It's a long story. I don't have my calluses like I have, but I will get them. So anyway, it's like this. And I jump over here, right? Now you see how terrible that is? So I'm gonna work on that. And it's gonna get better. Because that's just the way it works. And I can do some other stuff over here that I'm familiar with. You say, oh, that's a guitar player, that's a musician.
Just play.
Oh, I can do that right there. You're like, what is that? You know? You're like, yeah. So I guess the point is, what was my point?
There's no perfection. It's only getting to the now and staying there.
Right. And that's one of them. Another point was this, is that this is the documentary. And I want to show the progress of where I am now and where I hope to be in this thing called tomorrow, once it becomes the now, as now is the now. So right now I'm doing this with the hope that now later, which is tomorrow,
setting up your future self.
Setting up my future self, like John Younger said, it will be something other. And then we can do that progressively, aggregatedly. We can just do it in small segments. Like this right here is very simple. You know, it's not complex. It's not Joe Satriani at his finest. It's just, you know. So if you can get that done, that's what I'm saying. I'm not teaching you. I'm not trying to edify you. I'm just helping you along with the documentary and understand where I'm at. I feel like I can get something else done. Another piece, another segment, so on and so forth. Until we get someplace one day where we say, when somebody asks, "Oh, are you a musician?" I say, "Well, shit, yeah, I'm a musician by my standards." You know? But that's how it is. So, other than that, I guess it's been a pretty full documentary segment with Mr. Johnny Younger here.
Mr.
Add his addition to it. And this is impromptu for me. I normally ordinarily don't talk to people. I'm pretty solitary. And,
Me too. Very.
Pretty solitary.
Not really much. There's not much fruit in talking to dead men walking.
I don't really feel that way necessarily, but I can certainly appreciate someone else feeling that way and how everyone feels. Actually, I was writing some lyrics to a song earlier today, and in the lyrics it was talking about roses in every color in you, for me, you, and a global point of view. So while it seems like sometimes I'm on this page over here that would say, well, this guy's this and this guy's that. On the other hand, I'm on another page that would say, well, that kind of, like they say with Jesus, when one thing negates the other, they say, well, he's mad and has a demon. Some would say. And others would say, well, no one who can speak this way and do the things that he does would be mad and have a demon. I think God is with him. So that was the dichotomy of Jesus, and it was understandable how people would say, well, you know, I don't really know how to figure him out. I don't know how to peg him. That's how I feel like I am, you know. So one day I'm up, the next day I'm down, one day I'm off, and the next day I'm on. And that could be a day-to-day thing or a moment thing.
Well, it's waves. That's
like right now I'm sitting here kicking with John Younger, and that's not typical for me. You know, what would be typical for me would be like, you know, I'm working on something right now, and not to come off as rude and so on and so forth, but I sit here and I want to see what he had to say. What I heard was a very intelligent man who's got a lot going on. You know, so that's generally where I'm at. You know, not to say that I'm intelligent or whatever, not to say that I'm not, but I got a lot going on either way. So I can appreciate someone who's got a lot going on for what that is. You know, not to say you don't have a lot going on. He or she doesn't have a lot going on, but all I'm trying to say is some people have so much going on that you find them out here and you wonder what that's all about. You know?
I'd like to just offer you.
Hey, John,
I've got a friend. I haven't seen him in quite a number, more than 8 seasons. I would guess. Probably 23 or 22, but his name is Will Wynn. If I am not practicing being here now, living in the moment, giving all of who I was up to this very moment, before and after I take my first breath or my next breath, before and after and before. There's a wave. Let's say it's a pool. Most people are living down deep in the ocean, under the ice. They don't see that we have just but one life to live before the eternal witness, which gave us this gift, no matter how marred it was by those who were entrusted with our care. We must be our own father and mother therein, where we were led astray or misled on the withered branch of the piles, the spiritual grass fires where the hogs, I've tracked many animals, but hogs go down into the floodplain of, even if it's just the clay around a stream, and they dig with their tusks and they tear up the roots of the trees.
What do you think that is down there, man? Not to cut you off, but I'm noticing that thing. Everything's copacetic. It's a fire or something going on.
I don't know how long it's been. It's probably, it's usually somebody that dies. Or, I'm sorry, it's usually has some medical emergency. It's usually what it is.
You see all those sirens and shit down there?
Yeah, I see it now. I don't know how long it's been there. You've been looking this way for...
Yeah, it's just a little bit of something going on. I don't know what it is, but hopefully it's all copacetic.
Somebody living in that, in the front of that complex, I reckon. I didn't hear any car crash or anything like that.
Okay. So how old are you? You don't mind me asking. What's your age? What age are you?
I've been on this planet for more than half a century.
About 50 years? A little over 50 years now?
Coming up, I'm going further past it.
Going past that?
Yeah, I'm getting into middle age, living alone most of it because it wasn't safe to be myself in my father's house.
Man, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here. How is this, like 37 minutes? Okay. That's doable. I got to upload this, so it's going to take a little while. Sometimes YouTube fucks me. It's like, hey, I got a video right now uploading. It was like 10 minutes, and they're telling me it's going to take 3 hours, and they shot 1 hour down. Now it's 2 hours, so I turned it off and let the app, sit there and do what it does as the phone's off and no time. So I'm no urgency right now because I have about 7 subscribers, so it's no big deal. But that's where we're at right now. So I'm going to try to save myself a little time and what do you call it over here, or what do they call that? Data and all that stuff, because it costs me data and everything, and it spends data as I put it up there. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right here, and that's a wrap on this one. So y'all be easy. See you when I see you.